It's great to join you, and tonight my truth to power is austerity is the biggest con. We are told time and time again there is no alternative to austerity. And sadly, many on the left don't come up with the alternative answer. They don't spell out exactly what the alternative could be, how we can plug the deficit and save public services. So in my 5 minutes, I want to just simply suggest 6 ways we can do that. 6 ways we can fund public services without austerity. The first is to cancel High-Speed Link 2, the new rail network, which will save a staggering 50 to 80 billion pounds. Second, we could scrap the renewal of the Trident nuclear missile and submarine program, which will save an astonishing 100 billion pounds plus over the 40 years lifetime of those submarines and missiles. Third, we can end tax avoidance loopholes exploited by big corporations like Vodafone, Amazon, Starbucks, Facebook, and so on. That would raise at least 30 billion pounds every year, an extra 30 billion pounds every year to the Exchequer. Fourth, we could end pension tax relief on the very rich, those earning more than £150,000 a year. That would bring in an extra at least 20 billion pounds every year. Fifth, we could introduce a financial transaction tax. If it was set at 0.05%, that's 1/20th of 1%, on exchanges of currencies, shares, bonds and commodities, in the UK alone, it would raise a minimum of 50 billion pounds every year, and probably closer to 100 billion pounds every year. And sixth and finally, we could have a one-off wealth tax on the mega rich, on the richest 10% of the British population who have a personal wealth of 4 million pounds. And a staggering sum, more than twice the GDP of this country, is held in personal assets by the very rich. They can afford to pay a one-off 20% tax on their assets, and that would raise an astonishing 800 billion pounds. 800 billion pounds. Now just add it all together. The total saved expenditure from cancelling HS2 and Trident is somewhere between 150 and 180 billion pounds. The total revenues raised, extra revenue raised every year from ending pension tax relief on the very rich, stopping tax avoidance by large corporations, and by introducing a financial transaction tax would be a minimum of 100 billion pounds and probably closer to 150 billion pounds every year. And then of course there's a plus the one-off gain of 800 billion pounds from a wealth tax. The grand total is over 1,000 billion pounds, over £1 trillion. So the idea that austerity is vital, necessary, and unavoidable is the biggest con. We can use that money to not only save vital public services, but also to reboot the economy, to get us back as a balanced, functioning, productive economy with jobs for everyone and services for those who need them. So there is an alternative to austerity. Sadly, even Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell are not expressing it, but hopefully they will in time, because if we want to be credible, we have to explain how we're going to plug the deficit, how we're going to save the public services. We simply cannot repeat the mantra, no to austerity. That is not good enough. That is why the right, the Tories and others are winning, because we aren't presenting the credible, practical alternative. So don't let yourself be conned. there is an alternative to austerity, and we must all fight for it. Thank you.